First things first, let me know your thoughts on today's new episode down below. What did y'all think? Did y'all like it? Are y'all excited for next week's episode? I think next week's episode, what did they show? I think they showed Samantha was at the house. It was Martin and it was Smitty. And Smitty was telling out, he could stay gone or something like that. Vernon goes to see Bill and Haley's there. Bill is talking to Danny. And what was the other thing? I can't remember what the other thing was. But yeah, what y'all think of the episode? Do y'all think that was a worthy cliffhanger episode? I was expecting Martin to see them. He didn't see them so far. I was like, yeah, at this point, gonna beat him up again. He ain't learned. He need a new face again. Shoot, he gonna need another face again. I was like, at this point, go beat him up again. Look how close he was to your daughter. I said, go on. I understand, Martin. I understand. Go on, handle him. But okay, so we're gonna start with Kat and Jacob. She's still over here harassing the man, trying to find out if he, if they case, if it's made any progress or not. I think he said something about they don't have enough evidence. They don't have proof that she was actually on the motorcycle or something like that. I think she asked him how long do they have to wait for him to step up his game, and that's when he ends up telling her, they don't have enough proof. They don't know. They know that she had the helmet on, but they don't know, when or if she was actually on the motorcycle when she had it on. And I said, the longer they take, it's gonna be over with. Hey, how you doing today? I said they taking their precious time and stuff. But yeah, she stood and asked him about that. Then she noticed the look between Smitty and Jacob, and she was asking what that was about or whatever. And he was like, he's just working on some type of case or article or whatever. And then she ended up leaving. Martin and Smitty. Martin pretending. That's a Smitty. Tell him, confront him, tell him what you know or something. Smitty's just gullible. He's just gullible. Hold on. So he went over there trying to talk to him. He picked up that phone so fast. He was acting like he was on the phone stuff. That's when Smitty just stood there. He's so patient. He just stood there, whatever, waiting, and he started pretending like they wanted to talk to him and stuff like that. He just, as soon as he left, he put the phone down. I was like, Smitty, at some point, actually confront him with the truth. But what else? Who else we got? Madison and Chelsea. I gotta write down Allison because I told you. I said she seemed like she a crazy person or something. She over there watching them, or watching Chelsea at least. Madison and Chelsea, they was just having a nice little day. They was talking about everything. Madison, to me, do y'all think she hiding something? Because every time this girl asks her stuff about herself, she changed the subject, or she'll just play like, okay, nothing too much is going on in my life. It's just boring and this and that. And I was like, okay, what's really going on? I know people speculating originally that she was a reporter or something. Let me see. I was hoping Martin's phone would start. Me too. Me too. I was like, it need to start ringing. I said, it need to start ringing. It did not. I was hoping Martin's phone would start ringing. I saw the sports for next week. Finally get to find out what happened 2 years ago. About time. They took their precious time telling us. About time. I want to know though, since Jacob said on today's episode that he wouldn't turn a blind eye or whatever, like, is he gonna arrest him or what? Because he gonna have to arrest a lot of people. He gonna have to arrest a lot of people, including his daddy, Malone, Joey, who else? Ted, everybody. But yeah, like I said, Madison and Chelsea was just talking. Chelsea was telling Madison that she's happy. Madison ended up agreeing with her. Madison said something about she knew people thought that they were moving too fast because she was talking about what Anita said and everything. And Madison she acts so worried. She was worried that Anita won't be accepting of her. Remember the other episode, she was talking about Bill. And I was like, okay, this point she looking for any excuse. That's what it sound like. I could be wrong, but that's what it sound like. Then every time Chelsea asked her about her, she changed subject. She tried to talk about Chelsea or something like that. But yeah, then by the end of their conversation, they were talking about going to the house and stuff like that. They got up. Chelsea noticed Allison over there, so she told Madison. I'm glad she told her though. So they was trying to, leave. She gonna come over there talking. I was like, you crazy lady. And she crazy. Madison said she see her family once a year. Yep. She did. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a storyline there. It's definitely gonna be a storyline there. Anita, Tracy, Sharon. How do y'all feel about that? How do y'all feel about that scene? Because I see both sides. Because Anita can't continue to act like she's the one in charge. That's the reason why they told her that was partially the reason why, they was upset and stuff. But at the same time, you can't assume that she trying to take control just because she tell you something about choreography. That's the choreography. about dance moves. Golly. Yeah, I was like, you can't. Well, how I messed that word up. But yeah, I was like, you can't just assume that. And I'm glad she told them about themselves and then kicked them out. But I said they gonna have to compromise. They definitely gonna have to compromise. But they keep saying, my thing is, they keep saying how these texts me. Hold on, y'all. They keep saying how, she was a success and they wasn't, and they've been struggling and they need the money, this and that. Well, don't you think you need to start listening to the person that y'all said was successful or whatever? Don't y'all think y'all need to listen? Now, I don't agree with her just taking control like that, but at the same time, somebody got to show them the way. That's why I said they got to compromise. But yeah, how do y'all feel about the whole situation? I was like, they keep arguing about the same thing. They keep arguing. If y'all gonna hold her to what she did in the past and all this other stuff, it's never gonna work. So she ended up telling them, she could leave her checkbook, she could write them a check and all this other stuff and fund everything. And then, let them handle it. Then they looking at each other. What y'all looking at each other for? Y'all talking crazy and stuff. Mike, man, he said in a recent interview saying that he loves that the reveal happens, and he said that this between Martin Smith was done on purpose for the storyline. Yep. Hopefully, I don't know. Do y'all think after this that they gonna actually work things out or what? But yeah, I definitely think that Martin messed up. If your child in danger, this man came into your house and now he's sitting up there, sitting real close to Samantha or whatever. And I was like, yeah, you're gonna have to tell something. And Smitty was highly upset. I'm back, y'all. Let me see. Um, yeah, Anita was telling them about, the dance move. They can't still have the same dance move because, times have changed. They not the same people, and I agree. I think they could do both. I think old dance moves and the new ones. That's what people be doing nowadays. But yeah, they got upset. Um, who was it first? Sharon. Sharon said nothing has changed. Says to do it without her, and she left and she got mad. So Anita started talking to Tracy because she thought she could talk to her and she would go talk to Sharon. So she got upset and she started telling her nothing has changed too. That she still thinks she in control about how she don't need the money or whatever. And I was like, dude, at this point, hold on. At this point, cancel the whole doggone reunion. Because ain't nobody finna keep arguing with you about the same thing. Either y'all can move past this or not. If y'all can't, then call it quits right now. Every time we see them, they argue about the same thing. But yeah, what else did she say? After Sharon seen that Tracy was, telling Anita about herself, she came out. That's when she said Anita's still acting like what she says goes or whatever, but it's not gonna work like that no more. They ain't still, young and all this other stuff. And she tried to explain herself, saying, like, I'm sorry if I made you feel that way or whatever. But they completely, I was like, yeah, keep them out. Keep them out at this point. And I said, I get what they're saying, but they keep saying Anita was the successful one. So maybe she has things she could teach them that they don't know. Maybe they got things they could teach her. And I said, they all just got to give their input and compromise, or else the reunion is a no-go. Who else we got? Martin and Samantha. She was about to head out. She like talking about some she not gonna stay in the house or whatever till she 30 and all this other stuff. I said, did they read people comments when it's talking about her being 30 or what? But yeah, that's what she told him, and I was like, Martin, put your foot down, cause what she think this is? No, y'all in danger. Y'all listening? Danger. I know he ain't saying enough, but y'all in danger. Then went right out there, sitting right next to the danger. Did all that talk. Now I get it. They kids, allegedly. They kids, they teenagers. Of course, they don't be paying attention. But yeah, he was trying to tell her, I'm just trying to protect y'all. Make sure your location on. Did y'all see Martin at the end of the episode? How he was walking, and stuff. But yeah, I wonder if he had texted him or something. But they just showed him walking or whatever. But yeah, she was like, she not gonna be like Terrell, invite strangers into the house and all this other stuff, and went right out there where the danger was. They showed Martin walking and stuff like that. Next thing you know, you see Samantha and Kim sitting right there. I think he was getting her to help with his phone or something. I was like, see, it's so easy to fool. And he was real close too. I said, go beat him up again. I don't think he learned his lesson. I said, go handle him. Then look how close he's sitting to your daughter. I said, I understand, Martin. You just gonna have to do the time, do the crying, then do the time, cause he trying to prove. I said, he upset because they tried to take him out. Done sent Randy. I can't believe this. This won't be happening. They might as well let Martin beat him up again, cause they look playing. Then who was that? I think it was Malone. Did I write that down? Malone was telling Martin, I know what he did. I know about the chess situation. It'll never happen again. What a doggone police protect you at? Didn't he just put in the request? But yeah, I was like, they did all that talk. Obviously, Martin, the only one know how to handle the situation. Well, not really, because he still came back, but still. Well, I was like, y'all busted this. Y'all, it's too little, too late. Y'all busted. Too many people finding out. Too many things going on. But yeah, what else? Jacob and Smitty. That's when he wanted to know. Jacob, I think Smitty wanted to know information and but he ended up getting a call. Let me make sure though. They was talking about if Martin was involved. You know, he was saying how he can't turn a blind eye. So Smitty got offended. He was like, I wondered if I said too much. I said, you definitely said too much. You said way too much. Now everybody knows. But yeah, excuse me. He was saying, like, I'm starting to wonder if I said too much already, because he was saying how if Martin involved, he not gonna be able to turn a blind eye if he committed a crime. So he was like, is you gonna feel the same way if your father involved? He was like, I don't think my father's involved, but if he is, justice, justice. He want people to pay if they did a crime. I was like, dude, in that case, go on, get all the handcuffs ready, all the jail cells, cause it's half the doggone town. It's everybody. That room was deep. Y'all remember that episode? Well, of course y'all remember the episode, but still. I was like, get everybody at this point. Then I think that's when he got a call, and he was like, he just got word that Martin requested police protection or whatever. So Smitty got mad. I think he threw something on the table like Danny. I don't know, but he was like, so our kids in danger. He ain't said nothing and all this other stuff. So Jacob told him, no more letting it slide. You got to go home. You got to tell him about himself. You got to confront him and not take no for an answer. I said, exactly, because he should have told you that, first of all, that somebody was in y'all house. You should have told him. You should have showed. And then I feel like Martin could have also said that the man was dangerous or something like that. Something about him to let the kids know as well. But then again, they don't listen. They definitely don't listen. So what else? Let me see. I think the last people we got is Martin and Malone. That's when Martin called Malone over. He came over. That's when he was talking about Kenneth. And he was like, he already know about the chest thing. Basically, Kenneth was using his son or his kids to, get to him or whatever. So that's when he started talking about he want police protection. The good that did, the man still over there with your daughter. Now I don't know if they got a whole little process or what, but still. So then he was like, if you can't do it, he'll go to somebody private or something like that. And that's how Jacob ends up finding out, and he told Smitty or whatever. But yeah, look like next week's episode, he gonna be confronting him about everything. I said, yeah, it's time to stop lying now. It's too little, too late. Both y'all, because Smitty been lying as well. Hold on. But I think that's everything, y'all. Let me see. Kenneth with Samantha. That was the last thing. He was with Samantha. Yeah, that's it. That's all, y'all. What y'all think of the episode? Let me know down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, deuces. Have a great rest of the day and a great weekend.